just like Netflix is working with the Duffer Brothers even more to do more projects. Now, we talked about how they're doing an animated Saturday morning Stranger Things episodic type story coming forward from Netflix and Duffer Brothers. But now Duffer Brothers have another story moving forward. It's a supernatural mystery, and they're executive producing it. It's called The Burrows, and it's created by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews, so he's working with them. 8-episode drama. It's set in a seemingly picturesque retirement community in the New Mexico desert, where a group of unlikely heroes must band together to stop an otherworldly threat from stealing the one thing they don't have, time. Now, it kind of sounds like geriatric Stranger Things, but anyways, so that's happening. The Duffer Brothers are also working with Netflix right now to develop an adaptation of the movie Death Note and also Stephen King's The Talisman. So, yep, they're working on those two projects right now also. So they're not done. This will be the fresh thing they're doing right now. This is greenlit, but I'm guessing Death Note will come next. Talisman will probably come after that. You know, that's what it is. I mean, that's how it goes. They're but they're a big directing duo that Netflix is like. Stranger Things is such a big thing that they're like, well, let's give them whatever they want, you know? So, Lexi, you hear about this. Do you think this is good, the Duffer Brothers getting more projects like this? Or do you think they're rushing the gun on this? Jumping the gun.
These guys are fucking about as original as a fucking Andy Warhol painting. Like, I mean, let's be honest here. And which I love Warhol. I shouldn't talk smack like that. It's unfair to Warhol. These guys are really uncreative. Like, I mean, there's nothing they're doing that's original. There's nothing they're doing. Like, they're just dipping into a bag. They're sticking all that shit together, and they're going, "Hey, look, it's the '80s. Hey, look, it's this. Hey, look, it's that." Which I know, like, there's always that statement of, "Well, there's no more original ideas." It's like, and I know you can take a bunch of like pre-existing ideas and stick them all together and eventually end up with some kind of original concept or what have you. But like, there's nothing about Stranger Things that appeals to me. I'm not the demographic for it, but also I'm entirely the demographic for it, and it should appeal to me and it should be for me. Like, it gets confusing for me because it's like, it should be my show, but it's not my show. It's like shit that I grew up with, but then it's like not as good as shit that I grew up with. And I think that's really what it comes down to is like, I watched that show and I go, this is inaccurate. This is not very 80s, even though you want it to be 80s. It feels like fan service. It feels like too much like self-flatulation. It feels like too much of all this like nonsense. And I'm not a fan of Stranger Things. I think the music's great. I think the music's probably the highlight of the entire series. But like, I don't like Stranger Things, and I don't really like the direction it's going. I think that like it started out stronger than it's going. I think the direction this series is going, and I know we're not here to talk about that, but when you're asking me about the Duffer Brothers, that's all I got to work off of is that show. If that's all I've got to work off of, I mean, that being said, this show, is it about old people or kids again?
Old people that are in it's old people that are in a actual retirement home, and there's some creature coming to take their time. So
I don't like, one of my favorite movies, if you're familiar with Bubba Hotep.
I love Bubba Hotep. Oh, so good, Bubba Hotep. Yeah, Bruce Campbell from the show.
I don't hate the idea of geriatrics fighting against, you know, an unknown evil, because if there's one thing we've learned in life, people don't listen to old people and children. And so, you know, it's really interesting when you make films where children and old people are your focal characters, because when they save the day, it's so beautiful because it's like no one listens to children and no one listens to old people.
Right.
And it's nice to have that. And if you can flesh this out and do this right, I'm not mad at it. But I don't want a bunch of nostalgia-fueled bullshit. I don't want a bunch of, like, what have yous. I don't want a bunch of, like, shit I've seen a billion times before. Like, there's a way to execute this and have fun with this and bring me something fresh and original. Because when you say to me, senior citizens fighting an enemy in a senior's home, I get Bubba Hotep vibes. I get excited. I'm like, yes.
Go.
But then, like, when you say the Duffer Brothers, I go, oh, is there a toilet you can drop this in for me? Because I'm like, I'm immediately out. Like, I'm like, that Saturday morning cartoon concept that you're telling me about, I'm like, that's going to be shit. That's going to be shit. I'm not even here for that. Like, I'm so...
And they're going to do a spin-off, too, of Stranger Things as well. They're doing a spin-off they're developing as well. So,
fuck off. Like, I'm just, like, so not here for it. Like, I just don't need a fucking spin-off. The only spin-off of Stranger Things I want to know what the fuck those Russians are actually doing. Like, I want a whole show
That's
just
a good
about
question.
that. That's what I care
That's
about. I don't want to watch more kids. I don't want more trips to the fucking mall. I don't want more 80s shit. I want to see like the actual shit that's going on in this show. I want to know more about the science. I want to know more about the world building because their world building's crap because they're so busy spending entire episodes having them do photo shoots and fucking Ghostbusters costumes. I'm like, I already have those pictures. You want to see me in my Ghostbusters costume from the 80s? I did this shit. I don't need to watch this. Like, I know I'm old. Like, I get it. But, like, fuck it.
Lexi's
Like,
fired up tonight.
It's not interesting to me. It's not an interesting fucking TV show. And these guys, like, I'm sorry, like, Stephen King, they're making a Stephen King movie. Of course you're making a fucking Stephen King movie. You've made a Stephen King TV show. Why don't you fucking make a Stephen
way
King movie?
better
while you're
than
at it?
Stephen King could do, by the way. Just saying.
Well, I mean, if Stephen King was more involved in his projects and just handing them off to people, they might actually be a little bit.
They could be better.
Because like his
Sabrina,
writing is good.
Are you that fired up, Sabrina, about this as Lexi is? Do you think the Duffer Brothers shouldn't be doing this? How do you feel about this situation?
Well, first of all, it was very hard for me to listen to all the terrible things you just said about Stranger Things. To be perfectly honest, like, I really like. I don't even know what's happening right now. Like I feel like you're personally attacking me, and I don't like it. Because this is really not my genre. And after the first season, I was like, I have to wait for a second season. And then after, I agree with you that it did get worse as it went on. Like, as most shows do, though, let's be clear. It's not like it's an anomaly in that way. Most shows, start off strong, you get a fan.
It shouldn't have hard weekend the way it did. Like, I thought it should have like picked up because I was like, okay, first season's a little weak, but I'm gonna give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna see like where it goes. And then it like
the second season was pretty good, but then they started introducing new characters, and usually I fucking hate that. But I really like all the new characters that they brought in. Like I love that Sadie Sink. She's fucking great. I love that Dungeons and Dragons they had last season. Who was that guy? I loved him.
They introduced the best character in the show and then kill him in season 4. I'm like, this is the best character, and he's
dead. Are you talking about the guy with the hair? The guy,
the fucking metal guy, the guy who
he was great.
Master Puppets to best character in the entire fucking series, and you kill him. I'm like,
way too old to be playing Dungeons and Dragons with children. Let's be clear, but he was really, really good.
I just want to say for the record, I know that guy, and I played D&D with that guy, the way too old guy to play D&D with us. Like,
what's he doing here?
But those guys like totally teach you how to play D&D. So if you want to learn, they're the best.
I'm just saying.
They gotcha.
I'm like, you're a little bit old. And like, I'm not surprised you're being accused of murdering the teenage girl who was at your house. Like, It just seems like it seemed fine. But
Satanic Panic.
As it kept going, I literally was like it was not my favorite season for sure, but I was still very invested in it, and I'm still excited to see what they're gonna do. And that to me is like something. I know you're saying it's not original, but in the sea of remakes, premakes, prequels, sequels, it's like enough is enough. Like, at least it's something that they brought to the table that was different. Yes, it's recycling old ideas and putting them together, but it's still not a singular old idea, and I appreciate that. Now, this new thing to me sounds like Brian said, a geriatric version of Stranger Things. So I'm a little confused. Like, they didn't write it; they're being brought on. The other two dudes wrote it. So like, what were they like? Let's write something that's similar to Stranger Things with old people, and then get them on board to help us do it. Is that the deal?
No, we'll contact the Duffer Brothers, and it'll be great because they'll love it.
Yeah,
because it's like what they're doing.
And like, old people do it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm with you on Bubba Hotep, so I feel like we can be friends again. Oh, yeah. But
they should get Bruce Campbell to be in this shit. Can you imagine if Bruce Campbell was in this? I'd be all about it then. I'd be like, sold.
Yep.
I just saw Bruce Campbell on an episode.
That's how you sell me on this. You bring me an all-star cast of old, retired, like, horror guys who, like, used to be like at the peak of their horror career, and have them all be like the people in the home, and have them be the people that are fighting this, like you said, Bruce Campbell, and like just go get some of those old guys and just have them like fucking in the home, and then have them be the people that
Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund,
Robert Englund, he'd be excellent.
Throw him in there.
Good casting. I mean, like, those would be great people to see, like these old school like people. I mean, is he still? I don't want to. Is he still alive? I can't. I don't know. If
that's always a problem.
But I'm trying to think of what's his name. Reanimator.
I think he is still alive.
I think bring him in. He's my
I
favorite.
could see his
He'd be so
fucking
good for
face.
that.
What is his
Yeah, I
name?
could see his face. He's like so iconic, but I can't think of his but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, he'd be
Oh
That
my
great.
could be
God.
fun.
That'd be
That
so
could make it
good.
interesting too. And then
Yeah.
then the Duffer Brothers. I mean, they're executive producing. They're not directing it necessarily. They're just kind of like opening the door for Netflix. And Netflix is like, yeah, you want to be involved with this, so we'll make this happen. But I do feel like if you get the right cast, it could be good, especially like we're talking about an older generation doing that. But it is very similar to Stranger Things in a lot of ways. But it's about time. It's about getting old, and it's Duffer Brothers. They apparently have the stamp of approval on Netflix. Whatever they want to do, they're going to get greenlit. So we're going to get that spinoff of Stranger Things. We'll probably get that Stephen King series, and we'll probably get the Death Note, and it'll all
Now,
be coming to Netflix.
Talesman's not the one. Dreamcatcher. I'm thinking of Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher's the one with the aliens, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
That movie was actually a lot of fun.
Talisman's kind of in the
Was it?
Dark Tower series, isn't it? Isn't that where that comes from?
I think maybe I haven't. It's been so long. I don't remember.
It's been a minute since I'm familiar with that one. I don't know. Like I guess I'm okay. We'll see. Stephen King stuff always kind of just hits. It's fine. Like it always does well enough. But like I don't know. I'm not excited.
Most of it's shit. Some of it is really
Yeah.
good, but most of it is shit.
I'd agree with you
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Like there's so much of it though that it's like you're right. Like shit. Oh, this one was really good. Shit. Oh, this one was
Yeah.
like whatever.
Out of
But there's so
110
much
are
to
great,
sift through.
you
like,
know.
yeah.
But they're great. There's really not an in between. It's either shit or great. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Like,
You're absolutely correct in that too. Like they're garbage or they're great.
So weird. Yeah,
So.
it's so weird.